Hi, it's Bri. In this video, we're going to go over the basics for handstand. Now, this is great for any of you who are new to this, and even if you're not new to it, maybe if you're already teaching yoga as well, this will be a great way to make sure that when you're practicing or teaching handstand, you've kind of checked all of those important boxes before you get up there, because you're supporting all of your weight on a very small foundation. So let's get started first with our hands. The hands obviously are going to be the foundation of your handstand. They're going to hold you up from the base all the way up. So being in touch with your hands is going to be the first place you start. So hands. Hands should be about shoulders distance. If the shoulders are tight, take them a little bit wider. If the elbows are bent, turn the hands out. That'll help to give a little more space. Making sure that either the middle fingers are forward, index fingers forward, and that the hands are rooting firmly down. Fingertips of all of the fingers pressing, knuckles, base of the knuckles of all of the fingers also pressing down. If you're already teaching, one of the biggest misalignments that you'll see with hands, even in the basic postures like this one, tabletop, is the index fingers lift. The index fingers pressing is going to be so important for the health of your wrist and the engagement of your shoulders. Now moving up the arms, we want to think about pronating or turning the forearms in, or even just hugging the forearms into the midline. I'm going to talk a lot about counter actions in different parts of the body that are opposites, but that help to contract the muscles. So firming in with the forearms or even rolling them in and doing the exact opposite with the upper arm, the bicep rolls out. And that action is really going to turn on the rhomboids and the serratus anterior, all the muscles you need to turn on for the shoulders to be healthy and supported. All right, so once you're here in your tabletop position, your hands are underneath your shoulders, you're gripping with the fingertips, rooting down through the index finger knuckles, firming the forearms in, spreading the shoulder blades wide. We'll do some warm-ups that'll really help you understand and articulate what the shoulder blades need to do. So it's shoulder protraction and retraction. So first you're going to push down, spread the shoulder blades wide. It's almost like a cat-cow, but I'm not really going to focus on the chin moving or the pelvis. This is shoulder protraction. Then from there, you're going to do the exact opposite, retract the shoulders using the rhomboids, warming up the rhomboids as well. Then pushing down, spreading the shoulder blades wide, contracting the serratus anterior right here. Those beautiful little sausage muscles that help to support the shoulder blades. One more time. Retract. And exhale, protract. So what this action or these actions are doing is helping you find the middle ground, right? When we're doing protraction, like I said, it really helps to engage the serratus anterior. As you adduct the shoulders, you help to engage pec minor. When you're doing retraction, it's helping to use the rhomboids. And what we're always looking for throughout all of this, every single pose, whether it be handstand or even down dog, is finding that neutral ground. Okay, so one more time, taking that protraction and retraction, and then finding center. That's basically where you want to be. And in that center, again, you'll feel the fingertips grip. The index fingers root down. The forearms hug in, engaging pec minor. The shoulder blades spreading wide, engaging serratus anterior. And we're going to take it back into your plank pose. With your plank pose, see if you can keep and find, or find and keep really, that same engagement from the fingertips all the way up through the shoulders, and you'll feel like the core needs to engage, which it does, and you'll know it's not. If you're already teaching, or if you're able to observe your body in, say, a mirror, you'll notice that if the hips dip lower than the shoulder blades, you really want to lift the inner thighs and pull the belly in. And we're going to take 3 rounds of that shoulder protraction, retraction here. So first, push down, spread the shoulder blades, protraction. Ooh, that feels good. And challenging. And then shoulder retraction. And again, round. And sink. Shoulder blades together. One more. Round. And sink. And see if you can find the middle ground between the two. Hold it. 3, 2, and 1. Sit on back. So if you did that with me, you're probably sweating a little bit like I am, because it is hard, because we're engaging these small muscles that we don't quite really know are there when we're starting yoga. And if you're at this place, you're doing this program with me, you're probably at a place where you want to learn a little bit more and deepen your understanding of your body. So these smaller muscles that are engaging will make you feel warmer quicker. I'm blabbing on, so you have some time to relax, and we'll move forward. Now, come back into that tabletop position. Before we walk up the wall, which is where we're going to end up at the end of this tutorial, we're going to warm up the wrists. Anytime you work in a handstand or anything that involves your hands and wrists, warming up the wrists are important, but it's also bringing awareness to the engagement of the hand. So for this first one, again, making sure that your hands are underneath your shoulders, your knees are underneath your hips, you're going to start making counterclockwise circles. So as you move to one side, you'll notice that one hand gets lighter. See, as you do this, if you can keep the hands equally rooting down, even as you move from front to back and side to side. Side to side is a little more apparent. You might start to begin to bring awareness to moving front to back. As you go forward, push the heel of the hand down. As you move back, grip with the fingertips. Now going clockwise, same thing, just building awareness, but also warming up the wrists. A couple of rounds, feeling both hands, again, rooting down equally, even as the body weight moves from side to side and front to back. One more round. Come back into that tabletop position, and just to even it out, to counter what you just did, turn your hands around so you see the palms. The fingertips face the midline. Spread the fingers, a little bend in the elbows. If you want to take a little bit further, you can try to make a fist. Woo, that feels great. I'm a hand balancer, so doing the exact opposite, which is what we're doing right now, to flexion, is going to be really, really tough. And maybe some of you can straighten the elbows. Your face is probably like mine right now, but feels good. And then sit on back. Shake it out. So what's really beautiful about these foundational poses is that you can find elements of handstand in almost all of them. So we've just worked tabletop for almost 10 minutes, but we're building awareness. Tabletop, next step is downward facing dog. What downward facing dog is going to do is help you feel what it's like to bring your arms over your shoulders. We're going to open the hamstrings a little bit, and then we're going to take all of that awareness off the ground onto the wall. Okay, so coming into that tabletop position, gripping with your fingertips, pushing down through your index finger knuckles, heels of the hands root. You want to hug the forearms in, or even think about rolling them out. Or even think about rolling them in, and then the upper arms roll out. Draw the navel in, push down, tuck the toes under, inhale, and exhale, finding that downward facing dog. Breathing here, opening the hamstrings, the back body, but also priming the psoas, the hip flexors in the front of the body, which are going to help you go upside down. As the shoulders move behind the wrists, make sure to keep weight in the fingertips. Spread the shoulder blades wide, draw the navel in. So like I said, we're going to have to use the psoas, the hip flexors, as well as the back body, so the glutes and the quadratus lumborum, the QL, that lines the spine, to help you get your pelvis over your shoulders for this next exercise. So one of my favorite ways to prime those muscles is from downward facing dog. You're going to bring your feet together, pushing through the hands, spreading the shoulder blades wide, drawing the navel in. Take a deep inhalation. And exhale, just hover that left foot up off the ground. So it's not going back or forward, it's just hovering above where it was. And for most of us, we'll feel it predominantly in the quad, in the front of the thigh. But if you work a little bit harder on drawing the navel in and enlisting the use of the glute min, so the outer glute, squeeze it into the midline. Use your back muscles as well. See if you can lift up a little higher. And then lower it down. Inhale. And exhale, right side lifts. So at first, again, you probably feel the quad. See if you can enlist the use of your glute, so your butt. Squeeze the right buttock into the midline. Draw the navel, the ribs in, and even use the little thick but little muscle in the lower back to lift it up, the QL. Inhale. And exhale, release the feet down. Walk your hands back towards your feet. Just take an Uttanasana, grab a hold of opposite elbows, forward fold, put a little bend in the knees. Although we need a lot of strength to get upside down, keeping the hamstrings in the back body open and primed is also key. A little bend in the knees maybe starts to go away, lifting the quads, lengthening the hamstrings even more. Fingertips underneath your shoulders. And inhale, lift the chest, sit back down. So for our final piece in this tutorial, we're going to walk up the wall, bringing weight into the arms, feeling what it's like to feel more weight in the fingertips, but also using all the muscles we just primed to help us stay strong up there. So make sure you have your mat at the wall. We're going to start in a tabletop position. Soles of the feet right on the wall, knees underneath hips, hands underneath shoulders. Our proportions are all so different. So if you find that when you get up into this position, your shoulders are too far forward of the wrists or too far behind them, you can adjust the position of your hands. But remember that fear is also an element in this pose. So if it's fear sinking in and your elbows start to bend, be kind to yourself, back off, take a rest. So take a look before you do this with me. First thing we're going to do is lift our knees up and straighten our arms, but push our shoulders behind the wrists, kind of like a bent knees, downward facing dog. Then drop your head, reaffirm the alignment that we just learned in our hands, arms, and shoulders. So grip with the fingertips, push down through the index finger knuckles, roll the forearms in as you roll the inner biceps out. Now from here, draw the ribs and the navel in. Keep pushing with the hands, walk one foot up the wall, and using the hands to push back into the wall with the foot will help you not slide down as you step up. So it's just a downward facing dog at the wall, so keep your head relaxed, your feet do not go any higher than your hips, and you begin to straighten the legs. You'll notice if you're looking from the profile view here that you see a bit of a back bend. So my ribs are sticking out, there's an anterior pelvic tilt, a curve in my low back. This is what is helping me stay up here, especially if I'm new to this. If you're not new to this, firm the inner thighs in, look between the wrists, and slowly start to draw the ribs in and come onto your tippy toes, using that same action of drawing the thigh bones in that we did in downward facing dog. Make sure you're breathing. Push down through the heels of the hands. See if you can lengthen the shoulder blades a little more. Inhale. And exhale. Walk all the way down. There you go. Doing that pike is quite challenging, but also a great way to build the endurance and awareness that you need to start on your handstand journey, or even to help you really begin to be more integrated in your handstand journey. Thank you so much for joining me. See you soon. Namaste.